Don't buy a house until you watch this. Seriously. We saved for years and put together what we thought was the perfect budget for our first home. We were completely wrong. Just weeks after getting the keys, we got slapped with a series of shocking hidden costs and rookie mistakes that nobody warns you about, and it almost wiped out our entire savings. In this video, I'm going to share the exact mistakes we made and the expenses that blindsided us, so you can avoid the same nightmare. This isn't another video with some real estate agent in a suit giving you generic advice. This is a story from the trenches. My wife and I were renters for 10 long years. That's a decade of beige walls we couldn't paint, of asking permission to hang a picture, of hearing our upstairs neighbors practice for their bowling league at 2 a.m. We just dreamed of owning our own place, a place with a yard for a dog, a garage for my projects, a home that was truly ours. We spent a solid 2 years getting serious about it. We downloaded every budgeting app you can think of. We cut back on everything. Dinners out, vacations, new clothes. Every spare dollar went into the house fund. Watching that savings account grow gave us a sense of pride that's hard to describe. It felt like we were building our future, one direct deposit at a time. We read all the articles. We thought we knew the lingo. Down payment? Check. We knew we needed 20% to avoid that dreaded private mortgage insurance, or PMI, and we were determined to hit that magic number. We checked our credit scores until our eyes glazed over, making sure they were perfect. We even got pre-approved for a mortgage, a step a lot of first-timers skip, so we felt like we were ahead of the game. That pre-approval letter felt like a golden ticket. It had a big, beautiful number on it, and for us, it was the starting pistol for our house hunt. We were finally ready. We were educated. We were prepared. Or so we thought. The truth is, the gap between thinking you're ready and actually being ready is a canyon filled with thousands and thousands of dollars in costs you never see coming. What we didn't know was that the purchase price is just the cover charge to get into the club. The real costs, the ones that drain your savings and test your will to live, are all waiting for you inside. We made 5 catastrophic mistakes that nearly turned our dream into a financial disaster. And I'm going to walk you through every single one in painful detail, so that when you get the keys to your first home, it's a moment of pure joy, not the start of a panic attack. 1. The budget illusion. Underestimating the true cost to close. Our first, and maybe most devastating mistake, was completely misunderstanding how much cash we'd need on closing day. We were so fixated on the down payment that we treated the other costs, the closing costs, like some minor footnote. This was a huge error. Early on, our lender gave us a friendly-looking document called a loan estimate. It had a little section for estimated closing costs. The number looked manageable, something we figured we could easily absorb. We glanced at it, nodded, and filed it away, our minds still laser-focused on that 20% down payment. That single piece of paper lulled us into a false sense of security that would come back to bite us. Hard. Here's the thing nobody tells you in big, bold letters. Closing costs aren't some small miscellaneous fee. They are a massive, separate expense that can range from 2% to 5% of the home's purchase price. For the house we fell in love with, a charming little bungalow with a great backyard, that meant a 5-figure sum we had not properly budgeted for. Let me say that again. Tens of thousands of dollars. Let's break down this monster. Closing costs aren't one thing. There are a dozen different fees all bundled together to ambush your bank account right at the finish line. First, you've got the lender fees. This is what your mortgage provider charges you for the joy of creating your loan. We saw things on our final statement like an origination fee, which is basically the lender's commission and can be up to 1% of the loan. Then there was an underwriting fee for a few $100, which is the cost for someone to actually verify all your financial documents. We even had a processing fee. It honestly felt like we were paying a fee for the fees. Each one seemed small on its own. A few hundred here, 1,000 there. But together, they started stacking up. Next up, the third-party fees. This is where it gets really fun. The first shock was the appraisal fee. The bank requires an appraisal to make sure the house is actually worth what you're paying. That makes sense. What we didn't budget for was the $500 it cost for a guy to walk around the property for an hour and write a report. Then came the title fees. This was a concept we just did not get. You have to pay for a title search to make sure the person selling the house legally has the right to sell it, and that there are no old claims or liens on the property. On top of that, you have to buy not one, but two title insurance policies. The first is lender's title insurance, which you have to buy to protect the bank. The second is owner's title insurance, which is technically optional, but skipping it is a gamble you really don't want to take, as it protects you. Together, these title services cost us well over $1,000. It's a weird concept, paying for insurance on the history of your property, but it's a very real and very big cost. But the real gut punch, the line item that made my stomach drop when we saw the final numbers, was the prepaids and escrow account funding. This is where they get you. You have to prepay for certain expenses, like your first year of homeowner's insurance and several months of property taxes. Let me explain escrow, because this is so important. Your lender sets up an escrow account to manage your property taxes and homeowner's insurance. Each month, part of your mortgage payment goes into this account, and the lender pays the bills for you when they're due. It's supposed to be convenient, but to start the account, you have to feed it a huge chunk of cash up front. You're basically funding a savings account that you don't control. We had to fork over about 6 months' worth of property taxes and a full year's premium for homeowner's insurance. That alone was thousands of dollars we thought we'd be paying over time, not all at once on a single day. When we finally got the official closing disclosure, the document with the final, exact numbers you get 3 days before closing, we just sat at our little kitchen table in our rental and stared at it. The cash-to-close number was nearly $15,000 more than our down payment. It was a heart-stopping moment. We looked at our house fund, the money we'd so carefully saved, and realized this one misunderstood category was about to eat a huge chunk of it. We started scrambling. Do we pull from our emergency fund? Sell some stock we had? It was a frantic, stressful 72 hours. We had fallen into the classic first-time buyer trap. We planned for the mountain, the down payment. But we were about to be wiped out by an avalanche of closing costs. The mistake wasn't just underestimating, it was ignorance. We didn't ask the right questions. We didn't push our lender for a more detailed breakdown early on. We didn't shop around for title companies or homeowners insurance to see if we could get better rates. We just accepted the numbers we were given. So what's the fix? You have to become an expert on closing costs. When you get your first loan estimate, don't just glance at it. Go through it line by line with your loan officer. Ask them to explain every single fee. Ask which fees are set in stone and which ones you can shop for. For things like title insurance and homeowner's insurance, get multiple quotes. A little bit of homework can literally save you thousands. And most importantly, create a separate line item in your budget for closing costs. Assume it'll be on the high end of that 2 to 5% range. If you're buying a $400,000 house, that means you need to have up to $20,000 ready in cash, on top of your down payment. Thinking of it that way changes the whole financial picture. It's a sobering thought, but facing it head-on will save you from the panic we felt. Don't let the budget illusion fool you. The down payment is just the beginning. 2. The move-in ready myth and the $0 repair fund. Our second mistake was born from pure, unfiltered optimism. We bought a house that, on the surface, looked perfect. The inspection report came back mostly clean, just a few small cosmetic things. The seller had even put in new carpets and a fresh coat of paint. We said the magic words, "It's move-in ready." We honestly believed that for the first year, at least, we could just enjoy the house without worrying about major repairs. And because of that, we made a critical mistake. We didn't set aside a dedicated, immediate repair fund. Now, to be clear, we had an emergency fund. We were proud of our 6 months of living expenses tucked away in a savings account. But in our heads, that money was for a real catastrophe, a job loss, a medical crisis. It was not meant to be rated for something like a busted appliance. We just thought, what could possibly go wrong in the first few months? The answer, as we learned, is everything. The move-in ready myth is one of the most dangerous traps out there. No house, not even a brand new one, is perfect. Houses are just complex systems of wood, wire, and pipe. They are constantly trying to fall apart, and the second you take ownership, you inherit every single one of their pre-existing conditions and ticking time bombs. Our real education began about 3 weeks after we moved in. It was a hot July evening, and my wife went to take a shower after a long day of unpacking. She came out a few minutes later looking confused. "The water is ice cold," she said. My first thought was, the pilot light on the water heater went out. Easy fix. I went down to the spooky basement, phone flashlight leading the way, and found the water heater. The pilot was lit, but the floor around it was damp. A slow, steady drip was coming from a corroded valve at the bottom. A quick Google search and a call to a 24-hour plumber confirmed our fears. The tank was shot. The cost to replace a 50-gallon water heater with installation? $1,500. There went $1,500 we hadn't planned to spend for years. We paid for it out of our regular checking account, which made the rest of that month uncomfortably tight. We told ourselves it was a fluke, a one-off expense, just bad luck. The house was just getting warmed up. About a month later, the garage door opener, which worked perfectly during the inspection, started making this awful grinding noise. Then, one morning, it just gave up. The motor hummed, but the door stayed put. Another call, another specialist. The gears were stripped. "That'll be $400, please." Then came the drip. A slow, innocent drip. Drip, drip under the kitchen sink. I thought, I can fix this. I'm a homeowner now. I went to the hardware store, bought a new P-trap and some wrenches. I spent a whole Saturday under that sink, banging my head on the garbage disposal, only to make the leak worse. The plumber who came to fix my mess found the leak was actually coming from a valve inside the wall, a much more expensive fix. Another $300. The list went on. The dishwasher started leaving a pool of gross water at the bottom. The ceiling fan in our bedroom developed a wobble so bad we were afraid it would fly off and attack us in our sleep. The toilet handle broke. An outlet in the living room just died. Each of these was a $100 problem. But 100 here, 200 there? It adds up. Fast. We were getting killed by repair death by 1,000 cuts, and it was all because we fell for the move-in ready lie and failed to have a day one repair fund. Here's the rule of thumb we learned the hard way. You should have 1% to 3% of your home's purchase price set aside for maintenance and repairs every single year. For our $400,000 house, that's at least $4,000 a year. But here's the kicker. You can't just budget that monthly. You need a lump sum of it ready the second you move in, because your house doesn't care about your budget. It will break whenever it feels like it. That home inspection you paid for? It's not a warranty. An inspector can tell you the furnace is old and can check if the AC turns on. They can't predict that the control board will die in the middle of the first cold snap, leaving you shivering while you frantically Google HVAC techs who work on a Sunday. The solution is to build this reality into your budget from day one. When you calculate how much house you can afford, don't just think about the down payment and closing costs. Add a third bucket, the immediate repair fund. This should be at least 1% of the home's value sitting in an account you can access easily. This is not your emergency fund. This is your welcome to homeownership fund. It's for the water heater that dies, the surprise leak, the appliance that gives up the ghost. If you don't have this fund, you'll be forced to make bad decisions. You'll put repairs on a credit card, adding high-interest debt right after you took on the biggest debt of your life. Or you'll dip into your real emergency fund, leaving yourself vulnerable. Or, worst of all, you'll ignore it, and a small leak turns into a collapsed ceiling and a massive mold problem. Don't be like us. Don't let your optimism blind you to the reality. Every house is a used house, with parts that are waiting to fail. Budget for that failure. Expect it. That way, when it happens, you can handle it with a simple bank transfer instead of a total meltdown. 3. The forever fees. Ignoring the true cost of living in the house. Our third mistake was a total failure of imagination. We were so focused on the mortgage payment that we were completely blindsided by all the other ongoing, recurring expenses. I call these the forever fees, the costs that never go away, that usually go up over time, and that have nothing to do with paying down your loan. In our renter brain, life was simple. We paid rent, electricity, and internet. That's it. Water, trash, sewer, lawn care, that was all landlord stuff. We knew this would change, but we dramatically underestimated the financial hit. The average hidden costs of just owning a home, not including the mortgage, can be over $21,000 a year. That's almost $1,800 a month. Our first dose of this new reality came with the utility bills. In our apartment, our highest electric bill in the summer might have been $150. Our first summer in the house, with more space, older windows, and an aging AC unit, our electric bill hit $400. Suddenly, we were also paying for water, sewer, and trash collection, which added another $100 a month. Just like that, our monthly utility costs had tripled. It was a shock to the system. But the real killer, the slow, steady drain on our bank account, was the yard. We fell in love with our house because of the big, beautiful backyard. We pictured barbecues, a garden, a dog running free. We did not picture the relentless, expensive, and time-sucking effort it takes to keep it from turning back into a jungle. The first spring, the lawn started growing, and growing, and growing. We didn't own a lawnmower. That was a $350 expense. Then we needed a weed whacker, another $100, fertilizer, grass seed, a spreader, a hose, a sprinkler. The list was endless. We quickly realized a nice lawn isn't a one-time purchase. It's a subscription. And if you don't have the time or energy for it, a lawn service can easily cost a few $100 a month. Then there's landscaping. The flower beds that looked so pretty when we bought the house were full of weeds a month later. The mulch looked thin and sad. We wanted to plant some shrubs to boost the curb appeal. One trip to the nursery ended with a $500 bill for plants and soil that felt like it just vanished into the yard. And what about pests? In our apartment, if we saw a big spider, we called the landlord. In our house, when we found a line of ants marching toward our kitchen pantry like they owned the place, we were on our own. A quarterly pest control service was another $150 every 3 months. Another forever fee is Homeowners Association, HOA fees. Luckily, our neighborhood didn't have one, but we came close to making an offer on a townhouse that did. The HOA fee was $300 a month. That's an extra $3,600 a year, forever, for the privilege of them telling you what color you can paint your front door. These fees are not optional, and they can go up without your approval. It's a critical number to factor into your budget. Even property taxes, which we thought we had covered in our escrow, had a surprise for us. Property taxes almost always go up. Your home gets reassessed for tax purposes after you buy it, and if the value goes up, so does your tax bill. Our lender had based our escrow on the seller's old, lower tax bill. A year later, we got a notice from the county. Our home's assessed value had jumped, and our property taxes were going up by $1,000 a year. This created an escrow shortage, meaning we had to write a check for the difference, and our monthly mortgage payment went up by almost $100 to cover the new rate. It was a reminder that even the costs you plan for can change on you. All of these forever fees, utilities, lawn care, pest control, HOAs, rising taxes, they fundamentally change the math of owning a home. They are the true cost of living there. The solution is to do your homework with a magnifying glass. Before you make an offer, ask the seller for their past utility bills. Get a 12-month average for gas, electric, and water. This gives you a much more realistic number than just guessing. Research the property taxes. Don't just trust the listing. Go to the county assessor's website and look at the tax history. Understand when the property might be reassessed and budget for an increase. If the property has an HOA, you have to treat that fee like a second mortgage. Read their financial documents. Are they well funded? A cheap HOA isn't always a good thing. It could mean they're putting off big repairs that will lead to a huge bill for everyone down the road. We fell into a trap of financial tunnel vision. We saw the mortgage payment as the finish line, but it's just the starting block. Homeownership is a marathon of ongoing expenses. You need to train for it by creating a detailed, realistic budget that includes all of these forever fees. Make a spreadsheet, list them all out, and overestimate them. If you think the electric bill will be $200, budget for $250. That buffer is what will let you actually enjoy your home, rather than feeling like you're being nickel and dimed into poverty. Buying a house is so emotional. It's easy to get swept up in the dream of it all. The paint colors, the furniture, the future you'll build in those walls. But we learned the hard way that emotion is a dangerous thing when you're making the biggest financial decision of your life. Our journey was a trial by fire. We made mistakes that cost us thousands of dollars and more stress than I can describe. We were so focused on the what house, what neighborhood, that we totally neglected the how. How to really budget, how to see the hidden costs, and how to protect ourselves from our own optimism. To quickly recap the mistakes that almost broke us. First, we fell for the budget illusion, getting ambushed by closing costs. You have to budget 2 to 5% of the home's price for these fees, separate from your down payment. Second, we believed the move-in ready myth and had no immediate repair fund. You have to have at least 1% of the home's value in cash, ready for repairs on day one. And third, we ignored the forever fees, totally underestimating the true monthly cost of just living in the house. You have to investigate every recurring cost, utilities, taxes, maintenance, and build a conservative budget before you ever make an offer. Owning a home can and should be amazing. It should be a source of stability and pride, but that dream only works if it's built on a foundation of brutal financial honesty. You have to go into this with your eyes wide open, armed with knowledge and a healthy bit of skepticism. Our story has a happy ending. We survived. We tightened our belts, we rebuilt our savings, and we learned how to be proactive homeowners. We have a binder with maintenance logs, a budget that accounts for everything, and a deep respect for the true cost of ownership. And we love our little bungalow. It's ours, in a way that feels more meaningful because of what we went through to keep it. But I don't want you to learn these lessons the way we did. I don't want you to feel that heart-stopping panic of seeing a final bill that's thousands more than you expected, or the dread of a major appliance dying when you have no money to fix it. The whole point of this video is to give you the information we were missing. If this was helpful, and you want more real-world advice on owning a home and personal finance, please subscribe to the channel. It's free, and it helps us make more content just like this. But more importantly, I want to hear from you. For the homeowners watching, what was the most shocking cost you ran into when you bought your house? And for those of you who want to buy a house, what's your biggest fear or question about the whole thing? Leave a comment below. Let's build a community here where we can share these hard-won lessons and help each other make smarter decisions. Thanks for watching, and good luck.